My name is Eli Turner, and a year ago, I thought my life was over. I was 28, working a job I didn't care about, living in a tiny apartment that smelled like old coffee. Every morning felt exactly the same, gray and heavy. One night, I came home to find an eviction notice taped to my door. I just stood there, reading the words over and over. "You have 7 days to leave." I sank to the floor and buried my face in my hands. I didn't have the money, and I didn't have anyone to call. That night, I called my old high school teacher, Mr. Harris. I hadn't spoken to him in years, but he was the only person who ever made me feel like I mattered. "Eli?" he said, his voice soft with surprise. "Is everything okay?" "No," I whispered. "I think I'm at the end of the line." He was quiet for a moment. Then he said something that would change everything. "Maybe this isn't the end, Eli. Maybe it's the start. Sometimes life has to empty your hands so you can pick up something new." I didn't sleep that night. His words kept echoing in my head. Maybe it's the start. The next morning, I did something I never imagined. I packed everything I owned into one suitcase. I left the rest behind. Before I closed the door for the last time, I took one last look at the peeling walls, the cracked window, the memories of failure, and I whispered, "Thank you for the lessons." I took the bus across town to stay with my cousin for a while. Every day, I wrote down one small thing I could do to build a life I actually wanted. The first thing on the list was apply for jobs that inspire me. The second was wake up early and walk every morning. The first few weeks were hard. My bank account was almost empty. My confidence was even emptier. One morning, while I was sitting on a park bench, a stranger sat down next to me. He was older, wearing a suit that looked more expensive than my entire suitcase. "You look like you're thinking about giving up," he said kindly. "Maybe I am," I admitted. He smiled. "When I was your age, I had nothing but a backpack. I built my life from that. You can too." That conversation lit something in me. I started sending out my resume every day. I volunteered at a community center on weekends. Little by little, things changed. I got a part-time job, then a better one. I started saving money. I found a studio apartment that felt like hope. 6 months later, I was promoted to a role I never thought I deserved. But the real transformation wasn't the job or the paycheck. It was the way I finally saw myself. One evening, I passed by my old apartment building. The door was propped open, and a young man was sitting on the steps, looking lost. I stopped and said, "You okay?" He shook his head. "I think I'm at the end of the line." I smiled. "Maybe," I told him. "But maybe it's just the start." And that was the day I knew I had really started over.